Hello and welcome to Kasia Dietz's beautiful apartment in the Marais in Paris. And I'm here with Kasia today because we had a conversation at lunch a few weeks ago about this sort of slash culture of being a part of a few different things in your career and owning it and not being afraid to sort of take that next step into combining a few different elements to what you do. So Kasia's a gorgeous handbag designer, which is right here behind us. Beautiful prints that she sources both locally and overseas, sort of all over the world, but then is also a freelance writer and again focuses on travel and fashion and different things like that. So we were having this conversation at lunch about what we've both been working on and really, again, owning that whole kind of slash. So, handbag designer slash freelance writer. And, you can be more than one thing. And I think really right now, it's important to own that and not be afraid to take that next step. And Kasia's from New York, and we were saying that that's so much more of an acceptable society to doing something else other than in France. It's sort of, they're in this old world mentality of you have to be one thing. And so we were just saying that, normally some people might have a full-time job as a lawyer, but then do acting on the side. But in a creative field, it's possible to do, photography and writing, and you might be a blogger as well. So I think things are kind of coming in full circle. And what are your sort of thoughts on that?
So yeah, I've always had these two parts of myself that I needed to express. And being a creative person, I think just anyone who's creative has more than one way to express themselves.
Totally.
And it's a matter of finding that and really kind of tapping into that and knowing what that is. For me, it was the idea of creating wearable art, which is, imagine going into a gallery and taking off a bag from the wall that rather than a painting, you can wear it. So
like the Mona Lisa. Yeah, taking the Mona Lisa and just like putting her on your back.
Exactly, just, incorporating some fabric into that.
Yeah.
And nobody knowing that it's there. Yeah. So my idea was I started actually by painting bags because it was a way to really express my artistic side by doing different graphic design and painting. And then I went from there to sourcing different fabrics, like you mentioned, from all over the world. And my bags are all inspired by travels. They're all limited edition, like artwork. It shouldn't be mass produced.
Exactly.
I feel like things should be really
unique,
and local,
custom.
and made in Paris, of course. So there's the sustainability of the bags.
Yeah.
And the writing, I always loved writing as a child. I always wrote in a journal and won all these writing contests in school, and my dad pushed me since he was a writer too. And when I got to Paris, I started a blog, actually my second blog, and it went from there. Like I started getting assignments, I started writing for different websites and then magazines, and I love it. It fulfills a different part of me. So it's not that I just have this visual side, I also have this literary side that I need to express myself through words, which are often much easier than speaking.
But that's also one thing that you touched on, is that when you came to Paris, you wanted to go in a different path, and your background wasn't necessarily in design or in writing, and it was your passion that sort of led you to get to that part, and that's okay. And that's sort of really going with what you're truly passionate about and kind of diving right into it instead of letting the fear hold you back of thinking, oh, I didn't go to school for that, or I'm not good enough for that, or, kind of that imposter syndrome of, not really feeling like you can put yourself out there. And so I think when you take a step back and check in with that fear and just kind of push forward, you let that passion really drive what you want to do and what you're creative on.
It's also the soul. Like you have to listen to your soul.
Yeah.
And what is inside yourself. Like what is it that you really are driven to do?
Yeah.
And regardless if you studied it or not, you could refine your skills, of course, in classes. But it's going to come out, and it's going to be natural, and it's going to be beautiful if you aren't afraid.
Yeah.
And that's one of the deterrents is fear. People are afraid to do things that they don't know how to do, or they haven't done before, or they're not schooled in. And living in New York for 12 years really gave me that kind of overcoming any fears, and everything is possible, and I could do whatever I set my mind to.
Exactly.
And
which is what we're also told when we're younger,
yeah, exactly.
It's like we never really take that on, but then, as we're getting older and really coming into where we want to be, creating the life that we want to be living, it's like, what does that look like? And how does that kind of come into play? And that's sort of where this sort of slash a few different things comes all in together to make sort of one super career, super life. And that it's okay to not be just focusing on one thing, to really take on what you're truly passionate about and what you want to be spending your time with. So this whole slash, I've been hearing that a lot too. It's kind of a new buzzword, like this slash, and then in French, slasher. Sounds like
very chic.
It sounds like a karate movie or
exactly.
something like that, an action movie. But that's really where that's taking a lot of shape right now. So I think, like you said, as long as you're really determined into doing something that you really want to be doing, it's okay.
Yeah,
allowing yourself that space as well.
And there's no way to fail if it's something you're really passionate about and it's something that feels so natural to you.
Yeah.
It's you have to release it. You can't keep it within yourself because you will never feel satisfied. You'll never feel actually fulfilled in life.
Yeah.
So the beauty is, even if you're working in a corporate job or doing something else, do something on the side, like, I don't know, start some kind of small company or do something that really speaks to you.
That lights you up.
To your heart.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazing. Well, I hope that sort of shed some insight on other people to kind of take that dive and really getting into what they're truly passionate about. So let us know what you think.